What's up, everyone? Happy Saturday. It's March. Excuse me. I think we're turning the clocks back next week, or moving them forward, I should say. So summer's on the way. That's very good to see, especially around here. It's a little chilly tonight. Fix this a little bit. There we go. That's why I leave my Michigan cup there, so I have good, in case you wonder. But late nights, summer, sun going down late, swimming, all that fun shit. So all of us are looking forward to that, especially if you live in cold ass areas like Pennsylvania and a lot of you. Indiana, actually, I've noticed from Indiana, we get our weather like almost like probably like 2 days after you. I used to go by Chicago, but I see you guys have nice weather and snowed, and we have nice weather and snow. So kind of interesting, latitude wise or whatever. And I guess parts of Kentucky too. And obviously Ohio, whatever Ohio gets, we usually get that day, but very good. So I'll let people fill up a little bit here. I know there's someone else that's doing a premiere that's really entertaining. So maybe people might watch that and pop in, but let's say hi to everyone before we get rolling here. Gladly do that. Miranda Lee, hope you're doing good. Frank Meister, what's up, brother? Frank's the document dude. He gets them. He's able to explain them because I certainly am not good at explaining legal documents. Although I read through the city's civil service policy for 4 hours a couple of days ago for some union stuff, and I was telling the guy I was reading it with, one of my trustees, that I think I told Frank this too. You actually helped me do my job as union president, quite well as far as reading the legal stuff. But we have an attorney that we bounce things off of, so that also helps. But everything that we kind of figured out, the attorney confirmed. So that was pretty cool. We're moving in the right direction. Night Shadow, what is up? Let me put your comments up here. Sleuth always does that. I think that's really cool. He puts everyone's comments. And, of course, everybody's saying hi to each other. Mother of all dragons, how are you doing? Honeybee, I've been asking for it, and she delivered. I'm going to share it here. Probably I'll share it when I get off of here. Another Billy the Kid video. They're fantastic if you're into the Wild West. I am, and Honeybee does a really, really good job. Love the juxtaposition of the bridge. Yeah, I'm glad someone got it. So what my feelings aside, this live is going to be about here after about the first 10 minutes. What's up, Just Deb? How are you? Who else do we have in here? Honeybee's multitasking, not a problem. Hey, it's Saturday. A lot of people are getting stuff done, but I like to do lives earlier on the weekends. Actually, I have to do lives early, period, because I go to bed early because I'm getting old. Jill Moser, how are you doing, Jill? Hopefully everything's going good with you. Tattoo You, how are you doing? Good to see you as always. Haunted Stella, how are you? Good to see you. James Powers, same. Good to see you. Excuse me. Julian, how are you, Julian? Good to see you. Everybody saying hi. Jamie Hicks, how are you, Jamie? Good to see you as always, Jamie. All right. Rabbit, your neighbors are shooting. Unfortunately, it happens a lot in my town too. Quite a bit of shooting here, but hopefully we'll get better on that. But I do live in the inner city, so... All right, so you're here. We're going to talk about Flora and Delphi. Are they similar? What could be going on there? But I need to address something first. You guys have seen my community post, I would assume by now. I'm going to show you some pictures. We're going to talk about this for 10 minutes and move on. But you know how I am against the family bashers, and people personally attack me. Okay. But you have people that are attacking, Kristen behind the crime door, and I'm going to show you all this stuff here. So, of course, you know who I'm talking about, right? 4 Pitbulls. I'm going to do probably a top 10 list on what his channel should be called. But, the guy has 900 subscribers, so he's growing his channel. I'm not into Pitbulls, but I have a dog. The dog videos are cool. I guess his channel was something else, but now it's something different. So, but let me show you a couple things here. Let me share this. And I just want to show you, I had him blocked for a long time, and I'm going to show you why. I don't condone racism on my channel. I don't condone women bashing, and I don't condone family bashing on my channel. So this is Mr. 4 Pitbulls here. He's calling me a mastermind, which I'm actually flattered. I know N-words in every race, and you're just a white one. So he uses this word with total impunity, like it's 1950, right? So this was in the summer, I believe. This was a few months ago. And at that point, I instructed my moderators. I only had one or two. He don't come in here. He don't come in here. So he got pissed off or whatever. But it's a free country, right? You could say whatever you want to say. Free speech, but you don't have freedom from consequences. Now, I'm really good friends with Grizz, Manically Clever. Grizz, if you're in here, I love what you did for Frank. Please message me because I'd like you to do one for me because I think that intro for Frank is awesome. So there's a debate going on here. This was actually in a Discord chat. Him and Grizz are kind of going at it, and then boom, right to the racist shit. There's 7-11-23, right to the racist stuff. Grizz doesn't really stoop to his level. He even blocks out the F word and the S word. So he rolls around loaded. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. You know what I mean? But there's no reason to bring the N word into it, right? Unless that's something that you use every day. Someone brought up a good question in my community post. Is he white or black? Because if he's white, then, hey, maybe it'll be okay or whatever. And yeah, I understand that. So I found a picture. Whoops. Well, that's not really a picture of him, but it looks like him. If you guys watch Squidbillies, Dan Halen. So he's a white guy. He's a white guy. You don't know what he looks like. You've seen him screaming and ranting. If you've seen the CW also thinks he's insane, right? That's why they put him in there with that screaming thing. Oops, same one as before. I have too many of those ones. So that's what you saw. I'm an N-word too, and that's fine. I've been called worse than that. I don't know if I've ever been called an N-word before. So congrats on that. He doesn't care about the ball field. This is when we were talking about, the crazy man Joe Lewis going to blow up the ball field, and they're always, it was only a joke. Well, I joke about shit, but I never joke about blowing up little kids' ball fields. Has too many ball fields, according to him. I don't know if he was a baseball player or not. We know you wrestled in high school. Here's a threat that he made. He said not a threat. All I can tell is yeah. It's hard to read. I understand why you hate me. You know what I mean? I get it. But why do you hate punctuation so much? What did a comma or a period ever do to you? I mean, goodness gracious, man. It's kind of hard to parse through what you're saying because you butcher the English language. But again, it's America. You don't have to be a super educated person. And now here's the threat he made against the Patty family. And I'm going to show you what he does. And he has a pattern, and I'm sure he'll continue it today. I'll be shocked if he doesn't. I'll predict that he will. So you might want to rethink your approach. You might open up a can of worms. This was after our live that I did. It was on my page. So anyone that said anything on there, they said what they said. That was on my page. So I'm responsible for that. Open a can you can't shut. Again, there's no commas or periods. I don't know what punctuation ever did to this man, but Jesus Christ, does he hate it. You ever dreamed I could share what? You can share anything you want. My Facebook's open. You share pictures of my Facebook all the time. I don't give a shit. I have nothing to hide. I have no criminal record, nothing. I'm proud of my life, and my girlfriend is too, my friend. Fathom, I guess he means be careful whose head you put on the chopping block. And again, there's no punctuation and there's no commas. So it was easier to read the Frank's memorandum than it is to read this. I know you think your mind, again, what did apostrophes ever do to you, Josh? Why do you hate him so much? I might be comical. Well, he's giving me a little bit of credit, I guess, for being funny, but I assure you you're not. Well, that's your opinion. That's subjective. Everyone doesn't have to think I'm funny. Most people think I'm a fucking gas. You care about the family, don't ruffle feathers with the neighbors, Mr. Smart Guy. So that's a threat against the Patties. There's no other way to take it. So I'm doing this, and I'm going to put the Patties in danger. I hope not. If they would ever reach out to me, and even though they pay me, supposedly, I've never spoken to them, and if they say, Coach Kev, quit doing what you're doing, I'd be done with it that day. Anyone could say whatever they wanted to say about me. I'd be done with it that day. So that's a threat against the family right there, okay? Here's a threat against me, and this is what he does, and I'll show this to you also. Whoops. I'm having trouble making this big. There we go. Okay, so what he'll do, and I'm going to show you his pattern here. We're only going to spend 10 minutes on this fucking yucker. I'm not playing Saturday Night Live. Oh, shit. I had it already. Let me get it back. Sorry. He wasn't a fan of the Saturday Night Live skit, which, okay, fair enough. I will show up in person if that's what you need. Okay, so he's done this with multiple people. He actually did it with Prof. He does it with me. So what I did was, I'm a law-abiding citizen, right? I'm not in the game. I checked with my local police department. I talked to the assistant chief, and I says, hey, let me show you this. And he's like, well, are you looking to file? No. I'm not looking to file anything like that. I want you to have a record of this. And if this dude shows up at my house driving across several states, and I enforce what we have in Pennsylvania called the Castle Doctrine, and if you have an opportunity, maybe somebody can read that to you and explain to you what the Castle Doctrine is. He said, you're way covered as far as self-defense goes and that type of thing. So you'll see a pattern of this. I'm going to show you a couple more things of what he does to people, or what his attempt to do to people is. Some people it works on, some it doesn't. So here we have a video from you-know-who, the fake I'm going to say cowboy, the fake captain, saying, oh, Cody's molesting teens. So he likes to call people child molesters. That's his big thing. So there's one time he's calling someone a child molester right there. Okay, there's number one. Let me continue and show you the two other occasions that I found where he did that, and then he would threaten people after that. So where do I have these at? Let me see if it's this one. We got that. We were through that already. Hold on a second. We threw that already. Well, there he is again, popping up. Let me make sure I sent that to myself. I hope I did. If not, I could post it in my community group or on Discord or whatever you guys like. We're going to talk about that in a second. We don't want to go up. Go up. Oh. Yeah. So I have more here. I'm trying to find them. Give me a second. Maybe I didn't send them to myself. Well, anyways, he accuses Cody Patty. Hold on a second. I'll send it right now. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I thought I sent this before. Here we go. Yes, I'm not going to send that. It's a threat against another woman, which I'm going to show you too, but I don't have her okay to share that, so I'm not going to share it. But he threatened her on Facebook. And, go to the cops with this and ask so-and-so how it turned out, alleging it basically that someone snitched on him and something was done. That's been reported to law enforcement too. And as best as we can tell, the guy has at least one outstanding warrant. So if you're a man of God, come to yourself, come to your senses and get right with the community. If I'm wrong about the warrant, I'll come on here and I'll apologize to you and say I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am. I think I am right. And I think that's why you don't go to Indiana a whole lot. It's coming through, guys. I promise. Because I do want to show that to you. Let me make sure I got it. I swore I sent this before too. Hold on a second. 314. Aha! We appear like magic. Okay. So this was a conversation that someone had with Brandon Woodhouse, and they're saying, all right, this guy's saying he knows you because that's his big thing. I know these people in Delphi. I wrestle with so-and-so. So Brandon Woodhouse, whether you like Brandon Woodhouse or not, he doesn't know him. Let me get back. Here we go. So this is where he calls me a child molester. So I ask him for proof that the Patties are involved, right? This is what these fucking idiots do. They have no proof. She must be proud. Uncle Fester. Oh, that's really fucking funny. I told a funny Uncle Fester story. It was actually funny, and it was the Mount Lebanon student section. I've got that look, right? Well, she's proud of me, and she's beautiful. So there, he calls me a child molester, which I have FBI fingerprint background and state police clearance. Contact them and see if I've ever been arrested for anything. Haven't. And I always pay for my chicken when I buy it too. Let me just say that as an aside. Here's another thing in the Delphi groups or Indiana. I'm not sure if it was Delphi or Indiana. They were talking about a cop sitting there. Is he allowed to do this or that? Here he is. Boom, Joshua, you should know him. He messed with underage girls like you did. What? So that's his fucking thing. Oh, everyone's a child molester. Everyone's a child molester. I don't know where that comes from, but that is his go-to maneuver. And then again, it shows you intelligence and things like that. So what are you going to do, right? You come after me, that's fine. You know what I mean? You want to attack me, stay away from the families. If you feel it necessary to do what you threaten to do, like I said, I've already checked with my people at the police station, and it would be at that point, wouldn't it? So, hey, but I don't think he's going to stop. They'll continue this craziness and this fucking madness, and they have no proof of anything. I asked for proof. They post pictures of my kids and my girlfriend. So to me, you got no proof, right? And then let me take this moment to tell everyone to go to the let me make sure of the name, because I talked to the owners of this place who were recently accused of some horse shit, which was at the Blue Moose. Go to the Blue Moose, get a slushie. They did a great job with shirts, raising money for the family, all that type of stuff. So I encourage you all to do that. And when I get out there, I don't know if they have gluten-free stuff or not, but I really would like to give them a try. The person I talked to, I don't know who it was, whether it was the owner or not. I wanted to make them aware of what was being said about them. They were already aware, and taking whatever recourse that they feel like they can take. So, okay, let me get all this off. Let me get to some comments here. Sorry to leave you up there like that, Rabbit. Your neighbors are shooting. Hopefully they're like shooting like target practice. Mommy Wolverine, you guys are just, I can't believe you guys are awesome here. Let me put this up right now. Mommy Wolverine, I thank you so much for it. Last time you guys went overboard, and here you are again. Jinx is in here. What is up, Jinx? Let me get up to these comments, and then we'll move on with the show. But I had to address that. If you go to his community page, it looks like a fucking Coach Kev fucking fanboy page, because I'm all over it. But, at the end of the day, if he focuses on me and quits spewing vitriol at Kristen, at other people, at Kathy, at the family, then I'm okay with it. Just keep it about me. He shared that thing where he dick pics of me, Randy, and Fig. Well, thanks for the compliment. I'm flattered. I'm flattered that someone considers me in the same league as Randy and Fig. Both great human beings, both do great work. So I appreciate that. To me, that's a compliment. Definitely a compliment. So thank you for that. But again, he's going to say he doesn't have a warrant. He's going to share more pictures. My Facebook's open, right? You know my last name. I don't have anything to hide. Nothing. I'm very proud of the way I live my life. Full of hate, treats people. Yeah. He tried to talk to me early on, and once I saw the racist stuff with Grizz, I was told my mods block him, and then he went out and blasted. He threatened ruckus, and so that's his go-to maneuver. What's up, Chopper? How are you? Good to see you. But I wanted to show everybody that, that's when all this set off. I kept my mouth shut for over a year. That's what set everything off. And then, Joe talked about the smell of my mother's womanly parts, shared a picture of my kid, but he's a Christian. That's something else that all these fucking fuckers do. They do all this crazy shit, then they hide behind like the Bible. Like, what would Jesus do? He'd threaten to blow up a ballpark, apparently. What would Jesus do? He'd call everyone chomos, right? What would Jesus? This is what these people think. So, have at it. You know what I mean? Do whatever you feel you need to do, and we'll go from there. Yeah, you do what you need to do. Well, I do have him blocked. He's not allowed to talk or do anything like this, but obviously anytime he posts something, people send it to me. And I'm still going to defend the families. Listen, these people and all their raving and all their lunacy have never offered one iota, one shred of evidence. This place sold shirts. So what the fuck does that mean? You know, come on. You got to be kidding me, folks. You got to be. And, you know, the more we hear about what's going on in court, they're dropping bombs on Richard Allen, my friends. Dropping bombs. So get ready for it. I'm sorry he threatened you. He threatened me. He threatened to blow my, go to Ruckus's house. He has GPS. He has that. Listen, I got so much information on him, and I told people I don't want anything unless it's about him. I don't care about his address. I don't care about his family, just him. So I shared what I shared for a day to see if that would lean him back. It didn't. He kept coming. So, but I don't care about anyone else's family members. These people will attack your family members. No matter what they do to me or my family members, I will never attack their family members. You know why? Because my mother raised me the correct way and not to do shit like that, because it has nothing to do with them. And nothing to do with them. It's about me and this person. But they lose all sense of reality because they're getting their ass kicked in the argument, and they fall back into this shit. But that's what they're going to do. But just look at the page. You go see for yourself. And there's 900 subscribers. So 900 people, and I'm going to say 900, probably 700 people were okay with his racism, or as of now, they're okay with this racism. We're showing it to you. The guy is a racist. It's 2024. He likes to call people the N-word. He likes to call people child molesters. I figure there's 100 to 150 people there that sub for the train wreck aspect of it. There's probably a lot of people that sub for the dogs, because I'm not like into it. Like, I have a dog, but apparently the dog videos are good videos. But once he got into this, now he got all these people up here, and he got his followers and that den of snakes, and they're okay with him for using the N-word. I'm not ever. If you're ever racist on this channel, you're done. There's, who the fuck still says the N-word? Like, are you kidding me? We know a couple people though, right? Well, we know one. CW special. Yeah, the CW picked him out as like, we need to find the most fucking crazy person in the Delphi case, and that's why they put him where they put him at. And he's going to sue. I don't know if you can sue. I don't know if anyone could sue, even the other people that were on it. Some people were happy to be on it, and some people were pissed to be on it. And I think some people were pissed they weren't on it. I don't know, Jamie. I don't know. But I could show you. I showed you 3 times where he's accused people. No proof. I actually have the proof that I have, and what FBI fingerprints, and the locals. Yeah, the locals definitely remembered him after an unhinged screaming rant. And again, he knows this one and that one. Brandon Woodhouse doesn't know who he is. I don't know if Derek German even remembers him. I can't say that for sure. I never spoke to Derek German or to the Patty family, but as you saw in that thing that he threatened the family. Oh, if you keep talking, something's going to happen to the family. Family tells me to stop. I stop that moment. Never talk about it again. But I don't think that that's the case. Oh, Honeybee. Look at you guys. Honeybee, thank you so much. I mentioned it before. If you're into the Wild West, like I am, really cool shit. Honeybee just put another video out about Billy the Kid. Please check it out. What's up, Kathy? Kathy was also threatened by this mongrel. So we're at 24 minutes, and that's a lot more than I wanted to spend on him. I wanted to spend 10 on him. I got my notification that Delphi Dummies is over. I'm not sure what the video is. Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a big religious person. So, yeah. Yeah, Kathy, about your past, which he has one too, which is hilarious because he got jammed up for meth in the early 2000s, and now everybody's a meth head. We're not meth heads. I'm a pothead. I'll give you that. but marijuana's never killed anybody. Joe's a pelican. When I listened to him at first, when I first watched Joe, I thought that was hilarious. He called people pelicans and pet spiders. Now, if I'm a pelican or a pet spider, I'm honored. I wear that like a badge of courage. I was actually pissed that I wasn't on the list of worst creators. How the fuck did I not make that list? With I think Ruckus was on there, maybe Sleuth, Frank Meister. I was kind of mad. Hard R. Oh, yeah. Here we say that in the States. That's a very hard R. And again, will he ever address his use of the N-word, or will he continue to share pictures of me? Whatever, that's fine. But I just wanted you guys to know what kind of person that is. And multiple times using it. I guess so, Jamie, your credibility. I never thought of it that way. I never thought of my credibility on YouTube. But I think that you're right. That's a very interesting point. I just come here and be myself and try to be as transparent as possible, like always. But I think you're right. I think people, maybe their lives aren't really, hopefully what they hope to be. What's up, Kathy? As always, great to see you. Yeah, I didn't share Kathy's message where he threatened her on Facebook. Yeah, I don't think anyone could sue the CW, whether my like for him or not. I don't know if you can do that. From what I've been told, the people that are pissed can't do anything, but I don't know. Okay, now let's talk about Delphi and let's talk about Flora. I spent 26 minutes. I wanted to spend 10, but I wanted you to see what these people are like. And listen, they're going to show you every day. They're going to show you every day what they're like. Believe them when they show you what they're like. They're going to come up with these far-fetched, never offer any proof, never nothing. But they're going to attack people, call them child molesters, share pictures of your family. I'll never share pictures of anybody's family. I have pictures of a lot of people's families. I deleted them. And people that sent them to me were friends. Hey, I want to help you out. I appreciate your help, but I don't want anything involved in the family of anybody because they're not involved here. That's where I draw a line. That person, I have an issue with them. I have no issue with anybody in their family, their country, their state, any of that stuff. I don't know why I'm getting 10 million Discord things on here about something that isn't a Discord. So anyways, Delphi Flora, right? Delphi Flora. So statistically, when minors are murdered that close together, that there's usually a link to it, and it's a high percentage. I'm not sure the exact percentage. So I understand where people were thinking it's linked. And even though that the modus operandi of the crimes were drastically different, that still is a number that carries some weight. But it's not 100%. So let me tell you the two different things and show you a couple of different things that where I believe that the reasons were different and they weren't linked. And even though they were 2 months apart and 10-minute drive, 12-minute drive away. They were very close together. Here's the reasons that I believe that they are not linked. And there's a couple of them. So look at Flora first. Let's talk about Flora first. Flora's done November 16th. I think it was the day, if I'm not mistaken, 2016. Fire, right? So initially the Randalls come out and the Randalls say, hey, Dennis Randall was the fire marshal, says, hey, there's multiple accelerants everywhere. Multiple accelerants. He makes a press conference on a Saturday. They tell him not to do it. There's not enough information about it, but he does it anyway. So if you believe that there's accelerants poured all over that house, you believe Dennis Randall. If you believe that there was one hit in the back mudroom, you believe Mike Vergon and the other investigators that, to me, have a lot more merit than Dennis Randall and didn't resign like he did. Didn't sneak out a press conference like he did. Son was the fire chief. These guys didn't see that. And I know there was a neighbor. Hey, there was a 2-foot wide path of something burning in the living room. Well, I talked to guys at work about that. And I said, is there anything else that could be than a liquid accelerant? And we sat and we talked about it. And there's things that it could be. You could have electric drop out of the ceiling. The neighbor also reported that the table was on fire. The dining room table was on fire. If you had bad electric drop out of the ceiling, that line could be on fire. Now, none of the firefighters got shocked or, God forbid, electrocuted. But could the power have went out? I don't know. It's all very intriguing to me. The upstairs neighbor in the interview says about gray smoke. Gray smoke to me doesn't always mean it, but it denotes to me a lot some electrical burning. And without being able to smell, like I could smell right at that, boom, that's electric. You know, you've done it for 20 some years, or even maybe some guys have done it for 5 years. You can smell that. So initially I thought electric. Are they trying to cover up some kind of electric issues? We noted it was reported by other people to doing work. They didn't have this, they didn't have that. We know they didn't have smoke detectors activated and working because smoke detector batteries don't melt and go away. So ultimately, that should have been on them to provide them. It's a rental property. Like Pennsylvania, Indiana is the same. You have to provide, and in Pennsylvania, you have to provide. In Indiana, you have to provide and maintain. So that obviously wasn't being done. The smoke detector that was going up the steps, that one there, you're not going to take the battery out of it because it's near the kitchen. People put their smoke detectors sometimes too close to the kitchen. And what we see when we go there for fires or different things like that is that it's always out. Well, why do you take all? It always goes off when I cook. So don't put it on the other side of your dining room instead of on the side of the dining room, like next to the kitchen is a better place. And never put it in void spaces, right? You want smoke detectors on the ceiling. You want CO detectors around your hips or your knees because it's roughly the same weight as air, right? So it's going to kind of linger down there a little bit. But just looking at it that way. So there's a lot of things wrong there. And people have mentioned, is it an insurance job? Is it an insurance job? It's absolutely possible. Let me show you a couple things. I don't think it's very likely. And let me tell you my reasoning is why. Insurance jobs, we call those guys pros, right? They're professionals, right? Insurance guys, we call them pros because they're professionals. They do what they do. And let me show you a couple things here on the different types of arsonists that there are. So let me slide on up. And show you guys this. So you have serial arsonist, spree arsonist, mass arsonist. Same with killer, serial killer, 3 or more. I think actually serial killers 2 or more now, which those guys, the original BAU guys, don't like. But 3 or more fires in different locations, the same amount of cooling off period. Cooling off period could be a day, it could be a week. It depends on what people do. Spree arsonist is a similar, but like waiting a period of time, fire setting events, 3 or more fires in different locations in rapid succession. We saw this in Lower 10th Ward when I was about 5 years on a job. There was a kid that lit a garage on fire with a bunch of antique cars, walked down the street, lit a house on fire, walked down the street, lit another house on fire. So as our all-call guys, our guys were coming back, they would send a captain, you're in charge of this fire. You're in charge of that fire. And that's how it worked. Mass arsonist, 3 or more fires at the same location. So this would be somebody that's trying to attack something or maybe blow something up. And what they want to do is, I must have the notification turned off for Discord. And they want to burn something down with a lot of people in it usually. All right, I think I turned it on. Vandalism. The goal is to destroy property, typically driven by mischief or malice. You see a lot of kids do this. People with mental problems do this. Excitement. Similar, usually more of the mental people are here when the goal is to gain attention, seek a rush, thrill, sometimes related to sexual arousal, gratification, but not always. So we know that a lot of guys, a lot of serial killers were arsonists early on in their career. Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, is said to have lit thousands of nuisance fires in New York City. And as the fire department would respond, he'd lay in the bushes nearby and pleasure himself, which sounds beyond bizarre, but it's about control. Revenge, when the goal is to get retribution for a real or imagined offense perpetrated by an individual, personal revenge, societal revenge, an established organization, institutional revenge, or a membership group revenge. When they kind of mean membership group, that's not like a race thing. We're going to get that kind of when we get down to extremists, but maybe they want to go after a bank. Someone screwed them, they think, out of a loan or something, and anyone that's a member of that bank, something like that. Profit are the pros. When the goal is to take money often related to insurance fraud. One of the big thing with pros is if they're good, no one's going to be home. They never want anyone home. Because if there's a murder investigation or even someone that's hurt in a fire, that brings a lot more eyes. And they don't want them kind of eyes. What we see here in McKeesport, PA is a lot of places that if they are burned by pros, someone had a house and for 10 years they couldn't sell it, right? Our community's bouncing back, hopefully, but we're not necessarily high on the list of safe places to live right now. So, you know, it is what it is. Maybe they can't sell it. Maybe they light it up. And people have talked about that with Flora. And let me tell you, the Becky Patty appraised the house for $43,000. Anyone that tells you anything else is full of fucking shit. Okay, they're full of shit. Now, they did get paid that money. Somehow, some way, they got paid that money. Even though it was ruled arson, they got paid that money. Okay, so I don't know how that works in Indiana. It wouldn't work here in PA, I don't think. Extremism. This would be the racial component if somebody thought that, holy hell. If somebody thought that the girls or Galen were targeted because of their color of their skin, this is where that would go. It would be under extremism. I don't think that's what happened, but I think that that's how they were treated after the fire. If Galen Rose wasn't black, these fucking goofs wouldn't have made up stories about her carrying a gas can from a gas station that's closed on a camera that doesn't exist and told investigative journalists about it. Okay? So I don't think that. My opinion, revenge. It's revenge. That's what I think. I'm not going to say anyone's name here because I don't want to be wrong, but my personal opinion is revenge. So if I tend to be right on revenge, you're probably not going to be able to link this to Delphi. One I missed, I'm sorry, crime concealment. The goal is to destroy evidence of another crime was previously committed. Now, crime concealment, if you think they're linked because maybe Abby and Libby knew about the Flora fire or something like that, I've heard that, you would be looking at crime concealment. But usually what crime concealment is, somebody shoots somebody in the head in the house and they burn the house down to try to cover up that crime. But both are applicable here technically. And as we got on, we talked about the old McDonald triad here, other two behaviors. Some guys listen to this, guys and gals, and some don't. The other two behaviors listed alongside fire starting includes cruelty to animals. That's really big. And habitual bedwetting and enuresis. The belief was these behaviors are red flags that indicates predisposition to sociopathy as an adult. We're not talking about psychopaths, sociopaths, right? They're more scary because they live next door to you. They have a family. They do this, they do that. But yet, they don't seem to, what did I do here? There we go. They don't seem to get that. So again, I just wanted to show you those different things. I want to get some of your feedback. I'm going to talk about Delphi a little bit and tell you why I don't think that they're linked. This is my personal opinion and my theory only. And again, I think we'll find out. I really do. I think that something's going to happen with Flora. Maybe it'll happen after Delphi, whether it's related or not. I just think something's going to happen. There's a lot of shit right now going on. Like, for instance, Galen's aunt's getting calls from people that say they're the FBI to fuck with them. Could you imagine what kind of people would do that? Maron. Goodness gracious. Maybe we should pray for the world. Yeah, pyromania. Pyromania, like Stella's saying here, you know, that would be kind of the excitement thing. Is pyromania, from the stat I read, is like 3 or 4%. But I looked at pyromania heavily in Delphi because there was a few people that I actually investigated that I believe were pyromaniacs, and they showed it on their Facebook page. Arsonists who move on to murder. Well, if you go by what we said before, at a young age, if they were setting fires for control, but once they're full-blown serial killers, I don't know of anyone that killed people with fire and a knife, but I don't know every serial killer. There might have been people that did serial killings with a knife and then burnt the property, but I don't know of anybody off the top of my head. I'm not saying they don't exist. If anyone has one, share it. But off the top of my head, no. They do change their ways and means. They do change their MO. They might not change it a lot. They might not change it ever. They might change it a little bit, but they might change it. They go into a house. Maybe they kicked in a door one time and that woke everyone up. So next time they use a window or something like that, where it's a little closer to what they're doing. But as far as a knife in a fire, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. But again, I don't know every serial killer. That'd be a great question for like a Dr. Bricotto or Ann Burgess, John Kelly. The accelerant used. I can't tell you exactly what it is. I don't know. I'm not saying I can't tell you, but I don't know. It appears to be a, I don't want to say nail polish remover, but it appears to be some kind of acetane, if that makes sense to you. I'm not a chemistry guy. So that would explain the no fireman got there and we smell gasoline. When you go to an arson fire, depending on how good these guys are, you could smell gasoline like as soon as you get out of the truck. There's been times where people have lit cars on fire and gasoline has run down the hill, burning gasoline, things like that. But I can't say 100% for sure, and I don't know if they ever found out. But if you can find what that exact material is, Kathy, if you know what it is, you want to put it here, that'd be great, or send it to me. But I can't say 100% for sure on that. That chemistry part is not my it's not my expertise. I can smell gas, I can smell diesel. Many murder, yeah, they do. They usually do that in an adolescent age, and then I think the age they're going with now is like, is it 19? I think they lowered it. Maybe it's 23 to 40 or something. These are the people that are like your active serial killer. That's the average age. And I think that's why they put the age they put on the Delphi, on the FBI link. I think that's where they got that from. But that's only my guess. Flora 4 Memorial Channel, yes. You got the walks coming up. Randy's putting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Randy's always done great work. He's really the OG of the case. And, you know, how people attack him is beyond me. I try to put myself in other people's shoes and have empathy and try to understand. Some things you just can't understand, and you need to be okay with, I don't understand that. I don't know what this person's coming from. I don't understand it. So anyway. Oh, sorry, 45,000. 45,000, the house next to 56. So I think I said 43. So 45. So all these people, there was praise for it. It wasn't. It wasn't. It just wasn't. It simply wasn't. It's bullshit. And it's easy to disprove. So many of these rumors are just fucking so easy to disprove, man. Like a simple Google search. Yeah, both owned by Bird Street and one next door. I think they were going to evict the people there. Now, listen, I'm not here to defend the heirs or the Randalls in any way, shape, or form. But I just don't think that that's who, in my opinion, that's not who did it. McDonald tried animal cruelty, obsession with fire, persistent bedwetting past the age of 5. Yeah. And Charlotte, the other thing too is one of the other things is if they are, and I always say fixed like an animal, if they are housebroken like an animal, if they are potty trained and they revert back, that's a big deal too. So that could even happen later, 12, 13 years old. Gary Ridgway, 12 years old. Mom used to give him a bath every time he peed his bed. And she would have a robe on, and sometimes things would pop out of the robe. And Gary Ridgway decided at age 12 that he wanted to have sex and kill his mother at the same time. So beyond bizarre, right? But that's these guys that have these homicidal tendencies toward women. It comes from their mom almost every time, and that's it's hard to understand. Could it be a hate crime? Absolutely, it could be, Kathy. I can't rule that out. I'm certainly not 100% on anything here. With Flora, I have an idea and I have a working theory that I'm using, but that could absolutely be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong on that. Hi, Lipsha. Good to see you. For the Flyers. Yeah, Honeybee did the work on that. Honeybee's very, very talented. Very talented. She's done a lot of cool stuff, a lot of great Flora stuff. I've shared stuff before. Other people have. Charlotte, there's a lot of weight in the triad. It will cross-reference. Yeah, there's people now, profilers, that aren't into that as much anymore. And then there's guys that, and gals that swear by it. So somewhere in the middle. But what they've added with the newer people to say, yeah, we go with the triad, but you want to look at one or two other things, and there's other mitigating factors, and there's a lot of good literature on it, Charlotte. Personally, I don't know how I feel. Yeah, it's always what I learned. Reading the very beginning John Douglas books, McDonald or Homicidal Triad, and then newer people kind of tweaked it. I shouldn't say that they've abandoned it. They haven't abandoned it. They've kind of tweaked it, and they said, well, those three things are good, but you have to have other qualifiers for it. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. All right. I believe that's what I believe it was. I don't know 100%. It appears to me to be some kind of acetone, like a nail polish or something like that. It doesn't have to be nail polish. Those chemical families are wide, and chemistry ain't my thing. I'll be honest with you. But I don't know that for 100% for sure either, Stella. But I can't tell you exactly what it was. Tech Death is here. How are you, Tech Death? Oh, she said it is nail polish remover. Nail polish remover. Big fish, small pond. You know, it took firefighters, and if you look at their average response time, now remember, this is a volunteer fire station, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So other than the guy that was working on the computers, if you saw the dash cam, I don't understand that. Nobody was at the station. So what guys had to do at that point is they had to go get the truck and bring the truck there. So let me tell you what happens here with volunteer firemen. And I've never was a volunteer fireman, but I know hundreds of them. They usually keep their gear in their truck, their personal vehicle, their POV, and because they're not in the station, so they'd have to go to the station, get their gear, and then go to the fire. Usually people that live close to the fire hall are the ones that bring the apparatuses or the trucks. So someone has to go there and get the truck, bring the truck, pump water, the ladder, the house, whatever you're going to do with it. So on their response time to get there, it wasn't anything out of the ordinary compared to their other response times. Let me say that if you look at their response times. We have a paid department here in McKeesport where 0 to 5 minutes we're on scene, but we have guys in the station all the time. So there's a difference there. Next question. Would have accelerant have burned off? In my opinion, I don't know of any accelerant that totally burns away. No. It will seep into the wood. They'll be able to find it. It won't burn off. So even if, let's say you have a big puddle of diesel fuel on the concrete and you light that diesel fuel on fire until it goes out, until there's no more diesel fuel to burn. You won't see the diesel fuel on the ground. You'll see the burn marks. But if you go and you take some pavement out of there, you will be able to find diesel fuel in that oil, wood, things like that. So I don't think it ever burns away. Not a liquid accelerant. There's other things that people use, different papers and stuff like that. And those ashes, they can go away to almost nothing. But if it's a liquid accelerant, in my experience, no. I don't think there's anything liquid that won't leave something once it's heated to its flash point, and even once it burns away. Yeah, acetone. Yeah, Stella was saying that she's pretty sure it was nail polish remover. Acetone is they use it for all kind of different stuff. They use it in industrial things, and it's, you know, we learn a little bit about that, but chemistry is not my strong suit. Now, obviously, I don't paint my nail. See, the burn patterns are going to be how they laid it out. And from what I understand, there's one hit in the back room. Like there was like something on the ground. It wasn't, we call it pores or trailers that go through the house. So it's hard to say. It is absolutely hard to say without seeing absolutely everything. You'd like to hear the 911 tape, right? They won't release that. We're not sure why they won't release that. We all have our own theories on that, but they haven't released that. So if there's any questions about investigation here, I know people have it with Delphi. Man, Flora, there's certainly some questions on how things were handled after the fact. Before the fact, you could find fault. Guys didn't throw ladders. You know, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know why they didn't utilize the porch roof. Certainly, no one was throwing any accelerants in the house, but we could see that on video. And they put the fire out in relatively short time from their arrival. And you watch that dash video and you see them pretty quickly. And again, I've told you guys this before, black, brown smoke, scary. Pushing out under pressure, really scary. As soon as you put water on that fire, it starts to turn white. That's a good sign. Almost always it's a good sign. Unless someone's cooking chicken wings and they forget that they're on, and then you get that kind of grease. But it's usually a good sign. Yeah, in my experience, what I've seen used to start fires, every single liquid has left a residue, and it'll leave in the floorboards of the house, depending on what burns. On a carpet sometimes, if the carpet doesn't burn all the way. Jink sharing a thing for Randy's walks. Yes, check out Randy. Great guy. OG on the case. Knows a lot of people. Looking forward to finally getting to meet him. It's a good question, Stella. I don't know either, other than no one's helping. Like, so Delphi got, you don't want to compare the two cases because they're two separate cases. But Delphi got how many thousands of tips, tens of thousands of tips, and how many has Flora got? Is there a tip line for Flora, right? Yeah, there is, but no one knows what it is. It isn't shared. It isn't talked about. So the creators on YouTube, the family, you know, Galen, the people that are here for the right reasons are kind of keeping it alive. And it's hopefully that we can, you know, I don't want to wait, but hopefully Delphi goes in the can. They either adjudicate Richard Allen guilty or innocent or charge other people, whatever they do. And then it's like, okay, everybody, that's over. What do we go to next? Well, let's just go a couple miles down the road. And let's put all of our resources into that. And there might be people that you fought over with Delphi. Oh, you're wrong, I'm wrong, you know, but you get to Flora and you agree with each other. That could certainly be the case with Flora. And like I told you before, either that case will be solved or I'm going to die. One of the two things will happen. I'll never stop looking into it. I have no answer for you there. Cheryl talking about the McDonald or Homicidal Triad. Yeah, you know what? You're right. They have to keep changing it. They have to, because unfortunately, the depravity in modern times it's almost like prehistoric. You know, when people just went up and hit each other in the head with clubs. Even after water rinsed it off. Yeah, oh yeah, it'll still be there. Mm-hmm. It seeps into the wood and the floors. It could seep into any material, and they will be able to find traces. I've seen them find traces all the time. And then that's how the dogs work too. When the dogs come in and they're able to hit them. Happen here. I'm back. A little slow internet. I usually don't have that issue here. What's up, James? How are you? Oh, shaman, cool. I'm no chemist either. I never sold drugs, so I don't really know how to cut coke or anything like that. Big fish. Thought it was odd that Yoder got to the fire, tried to go in, got in his car, and went to the station to tell them to move it. It makes sense if it's unmanned, and maybe they just getting there too. Well, let me tell you what Yoder did. So Yoder went to the station to get a face piece. And you could see him coming out with that face piece. So I don't know if he had an SCBA in his car or what, but he was able to don that SCBA quick. There was a guy in there, and if you listen to it, he's like, I only work on computers. Well, if I'm coming into the station and there's kids burning in the house, guess what, motherfucker? You could take a ladder off and throw it on the house, can't you? You could catch a hydrant. You could do something like that. You can help. Get in the truck. What are you working on computers at 3 a.m. for anyway? You know, what are you on a Geek Squad night shift here? I've never seen anything like that. If that's where you're going, went to the station to tell them, yeah, move it. There's people in there. But the guy that was in there was, it was an unmanned station, but the door was open when he pulled up. And that guy was just standing in there like, I work on computers. So why would you report to the station at 3 for a fire if you're not going to go to it? Was he doing something there? Was he working on something? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they have a fire hall. Maybe he's having a couple beers. You know, I don't know. I don't know any of this. It's kind of hard to understand it. But one of the things I'm going to talk about later on here about David Erskine, these guys keep their gear in their car. Especially if you're a chief, you know, you might even have a take-home vehicle, or they have the blue lights they put on top. They can do things like that. I think you see that in a video, a guy coming in a pickup truck as Yoder goes back to the call. JH and his girlfriend ST arrested. North Indian mini barn fires. Oh, full of animals. Yeah, they were trying to hurt people. If they weren't doing that for insurance. They wouldn't have done that for insurance. Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Kathy saying Dissinger told him to go get the gear. Yeah, you couldn't go in that house without SCBA on, because what people don't understand that don't go in fires, and hopefully you never do and you never have to experience this, but the heat and the smoke goes up. And when a fire, like when you walk in a fire and it's clear and you can see the fire burning, that fire is burning really good. It'll put off smoke, and we know that smoke kills about 70% of people in fires. They never get touched by flames. It's the smoke that does them in. And so, yeah, you can't. I mean, you think, oh, you're going to run in there and save your kids. You're going to take 2 steps in. You're going to hit that superheated gas. You take 1 or 2 breaths in your lungs literally liquefy. So you just can't do that. You can't. I mean, you can run in there and die, and probably a lot of us would maybe do it, but you know. And then the people that said Galen Rose did it, she was burnt. She was intubated. They tubed her. They're not going to tube you for no bullshit, right? They're just not. Seems like they could have at least mentioned it, whether they were doing the press for Delphi. Yeah, and you know what? I'll tell you this, Big Fish. In my opinion, the only time I saw Flora press conferences was like a response to something. The NAACP called them out, or this one called them out. Like, oh no, this isn't the case. This isn't the case. So yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question, and I don't know if it's because they were going a certain way in Delphi and they had nothing over here, but I don't know. We know that thanks to Kathy, I know that Robert Ives was leaning a certain way, or at least wanted something more done. Have you ever seen anyone use potato chip bag? No, I've not seen potato chip bags, but you can light, I shouldn't tell you this, please don't do it. You can light Pringles on fire, and you can light powder cremora on fire. We've seen those before. And luckily, because criminals aren't too smart, the shaker thing of cremora was left on the counter. And it was we got to it real quick. The thing was on the counter, their fingerprints were on it, and they were able to, this is goddamn coffee cremora. So there's all kind of things that can be used. So maybe if you're talking a bag of chips, there are a lot of chips. I think Funyuns are flammable, so don't try it at home. Don't light a bag of Funyuns on fire. If you can do it outside with fire gloves on. But they're very crafty in their ways. So if this was an arson for profit, it was amateur hour. It was probably the person's first time doing it. That's one of the big reasons I don't think that this was profit for arson. You didn't have $100,000 policy on a house. It wasn't twice or 1.5 times the value. And there was people home. And I'm not saying it's impossible. And like I said, maybe if they did, it was amateur hour, but I don't know. Renaissance man. Well, I appreciate that. Grizz is in here somewhere. What is up, Grizz? Grizz, if you weren't here before, I'd like to talk to you. You did a fantastic job on Frank's opening. I'd like you to do one for me. Want to allow Carroll County. And that's so bothersome to me, Kathy. And I know it is to you too. It's so bothersome to me. And it's like, well, people had weed there or something like that. And I've sent tips in and things like that and tried to talk. I've never got a response from anybody. Maybe my information wasn't good. Maybe my questions weren't good. Maybe they didn't want to answer them, but I've never gotten any response back. What was Adam Randall and Josh Dishinger doing while he drove back? I don't know. That would have to be people at the scene would have to attest to that, because obviously we don't see. As far as we know, Dissinger's car did not have a dash cam. If it does, we haven't seen it. And if I'm not mistaken, Dissinger was a local lawman, and Yoder was kind of a county, if I have that correct. The county probably has more money than local law enforcement for dash cams. This is 2016. They probably all have them now. But we don't know. We don't know what they were doing. Oh, I'll always stand up for Galen. Listen, and let me tell you something here. That terrible case that just happened in Florida, Kissimmee, Florida. I watched that press conference. They arrested the mother's husband, and I've never hit a woman. I never would. A woman could punch me in the face, could spit in my face. I wouldn't hit her ever. It's never happened to me before, but I would never do it. Mom taught me different than that. Turn the cheek, walk away, do whatever you got to do. But I was enraged watching that press conference. I watched it today. True Crime or Grizzly True Crime, Griselda K did a really good 40-minute video. And she was like sick at her stomach, and you could tell it wasn't bullshit. And it made me so mad watching that mom. And I'm looking at her like, you fucking knew what that piece of shit did, and you're covering for him. And whatever her reason is, if she's, I don't know if she's mentally a little bit off or something like that, but like, that pisses me off. And I think that people that kill their own kids, there's a special place in hell for them. And I'll be the first one to lead that charge. The first one. There's a lot of evidence. Police have made an arrest. Whether she knew or not, I feel like that she did. And if I jumped the gun and I'm wrong, I apologize. But like, it was all a lie. He didn't go to school. He had her propped up in a car dead. And she knew about it. And for that, if that's what really happened, she needs to burn in hell. You go burn in hell. You kill your own kid. You burn in hell. Yeah, well, you know, Mother of all dragons, I'm sure Kathy can tell you it's a little different there. It certainly is. So Pringles can works good. But the only thing with that is it's going to leave some of that metal material that wraps around it. You might find traces of that, or if you just like lay a line of Pringles out or something. But you don't just lay it out. You put it next to a curtain or something like that. Something will go up quick, and they'll be like, God damn, how did this start? And Ayers mentioned to a Virginia lady who came to the police station. I have the police report, and said that Ayers had told her son that he would stuff paper in junction boxes. So if you know what a junction box is, a square box, that's not really a square, you know what I mean? It's a square box, and it'll have power running in one side, coming out another. It'll kind of make like a junction, make a joint, and then run power wherever else. Well, if you stick paper in there and light that on fire, eventually the conduit around the wire there's paper involved in there, and there's some plastic in there. That'll melt and catch on fire. So if an investigator comes up and sees, you know, the V pattern, like, wow, this room really saw a lot of fire. Alligatoring is a good sign. It doesn't always denote it, but you say, wow, okay, it's right by here. This was probably an electrical fire. Were the lights on? No, the electric went off right away, which you could do on your own. You could turn it off, or you could punch something out and leave the switch on. I've seen people do that. So he did mention that. So you could do it that way. But again, those people are more professional. And like I said, if this was an arson fire for profit in Flora, and I can't say 100% it wasn't, it was amateur hour. It was absolutely amateur hour. Erskine lies a lot. I believe he's the firefighter spreading the rumor about the gas station. I believe so too. I don't believe that he's bridge guy. David Erskine was at the scene with his uniform on. So I watched a video from Eye of Apophis, who I disagree with, but I love his videos, or her videos. Their videos are fantastic. The music is fantastic. I can't get down with that. I don't believe that that's what happened. You're not wearing someone else's gear to a fire. And I know where that rumor comes from, because she said it to me too. And I tried to explain to her that you set your gear up in a certain way. Everyone's unique. I like to have this in my pocket, my lineman pliers here, or whatever the case, my extra gloves, whatever the case may be, in this pocket and that pocket. You're not going to wear someone else's gear. And if you're a chief of a volunteer department, you're going to trumpet around with that white hat on. So you can see, if you watch the video, I think it's around the 14-minute mark or 15-minute mark, Erskine walks into the picture. He talks to the guy in the blue, who they think is Erskine. And I don't know who that guy was. We were thinking maybe it was the upstairs neighbor, but Kathy was able to say no, it was the guy in the red shorts, which makes more sense, because if you evacuate a home, you're probably just going to have whatever you had on. You're not going to have time to grab a coat. That guy was bundled up. I don't know who that guy was. I hope law enforcement knows who that guy is. But if anyone knows who that guy is, I don't believe it's David Erskine, because I see David Erskine with his gear. And hold on a second here. I think I have it. Let me make sure. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me make sure I have the right screenshots here. I might not. Oh, sorry. Sorry to keep showing that. I don't know if I shared it or not. I'm sorry to keep showing that too. And that. That is not intentional. Yeah, none of that's there. I must not have had it, but it's in my Discord, and I'll gladly share it again. And again, I don't believe that David Erskine's bridge guy. The fire thing that the guy that called in a bomb threat did is always very interesting to me. Why is there fire around it? I tracked some poor guy, Fireman John, that got in North Carolina, and I was looking at his stuff, and that's bizarre. Does that guy know what happened, though? I don't know. But that is bizarre. I've always wondered that. And I always kind of thought that the mask almost looked like an old MSA trunk, which would have been a firefighter in probably the early 80s to mid 90s. So I was thinking that maybe it's an older firefighter. But I don't see it. I don't see it. And I believe that David Erskine's there with his gear on, like around the 15-minute mark. You'll see the guy in a blue coat with the hat, who I don't know who that is. And Erskine's walking by, and me and Ruckus did a video. And we were like joking, like, oh, he must be a pecker checker, because he's telling him something. He looks down at his pants, and I think his pants are undone. Hey, button your bottoms, will tell you, or snap your bottoms. So they have Velcro instead of a zipper, and then there's a snap that goes on. And I don't think there's anyone that has buttons anymore in their fire pants, because that's quicker, and it's easier to get off if you need to get it off, or whatever the case may be. So I'm almost positive that's Erskine. I've compared it to other pictures on his Facebook page, and I think it's him. But yeah, I agree with you, Kathy. I think that part of some of those rumors are maybe coming from him, and I hate to say that about a guy who lost his niece. But that's every road that I'm walking down. He's back there telling the investigative journalist that we had a bag of chips, burned the house. Oh, wow. Yeah, you know what, Mother? That's incredible. Hopefully, it's terrible anytime it happened. Hopefully, it was a long time ago and you fully recovered from it. But I don't know if it's something that they put on it to keep it to last longer or something like that. But it certainly can happen. Certainly can happen for sure. Big fish, small pond. It makes me mad to hear people question Galen. I tell them to watch the video. Oh, yeah. And let me tell you something else, Big Fish. Unfortunately, I've been in that situation 3 times in my career. I apologize. 3 times in my career where kids were stuck in the house and mom's in the street acting exactly the same way. Exactly. And there's people that we're friends with her and aren't now that say that she has a mental disability and they have to protect her and she can't talk to the police. This person, that none of that's true. None of that is true at all. I need you to know that. And I, you know what, if Galen Rose is involved in this, I'll be the wrongest I've ever been about anything else in my life. I don't see it. Not at all. No signs of it. Nothing. And again, I think this was, in my opinion, it's a jilted lover. Without giving any names, I think you know where we can go with that. I've showed you things before, and I continue to press on there. Oh, yeah, he probably did. I could see that. I never thought of that, Kathy. But let me tell you this about Erskine. I think that his text messages initially that he was there where the girls were covered with leaves, I don't think we could discount that, because I haven't seen the crime scene pictures, but the people that have seen the crime scene pictures said, oh, there's no leaves or nothing on them. Well, that's 2 pictures out of a couple thousand. Who knows how many they took? So, just my 2 cents there. And he is Abby's uncle. Yeah, and he was able to do that. So here's what I think with Doug Carter. Doug Carter didn't come out and overly he said, yeah, she's not a suspect. I think he wants to talk to her. And I think that somehow the state police think that Galen's protecting somebody that was at that house for whatever reason. And I don't think that's the case at all. And I think if they could ever get in a room and sit down together and figure it out, just something, I don't know. I don't know how to set that up, but the people around Galen love Galen and they want to protect her. But I agree with you, James. I was very happy to see that they did that. And that guy from that news station, the guy with the really cool hair, I mentioned everyone's hair. No, Galen would never hurt her babies. I don't think so either. I'd be blown away. I'd be absolutely blown away. Yes, rescue all the dogs. Tremendous point. We mentioned this before. No 911 tape. They spent about $30,000 to defend Adam Randall for a lawyer to keep the tape from coming out. The state, I think, ethics board or something, I have those things too. They said, yeah, you violated the 911 calls are not privileged. Okay, let me explain that to you. So a police radio transcript, a CAD viewer, where you have the calls come up when you communicate, that's privileged information. You're not supposed to share that with the public. 911 calls are not privileged information unless a judge rules and says, hey, this can't come out, or they can redact things or something like that. Now, if someone's on 911 and they're getting bludgeoned with a hatchet or something, like, they might not release that and say, this is just too graphic. We'll give you a transcript, or we'll give you this, or we'll give you that. But that is not privileged communication. You should be able to go to 911, and even if you have to file a FOIA request or a right to know request like Pennsylvania has, you should be able to get that 911 call at your cost. You'll have to pay for downloading and whatever the hell they put it on or whatever. But see you, Honeybee. Thanks as always. Go check out Honeybee. Like I said, the new Billy the Kid. If you haven't watched any, check them all out. Yeah, you could see that in the pictures, Jinx, that the love that they had for each other. Charlotte, I'm with you. Good lady. Oh, so the bag actually burned all the way out too. Huh. I could believe a bag. The Pringles can, I'm not sure, but it certainly is possible too. And if that fire, listen, anything in the world can burn. Concrete, it spalds and it like shoots little balls off. Metal, anything can burn. There's a temperature for everything to burn. So that's really wild, mother. I haven't seen a house go all the way down because of chips, unless that's what happened and we didn't know, or county comes in and does the investigation. Good question. I have the press conference. I shared it before, Kathy. A couple of suspects, I think, and it was Vito, I believe it said it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I disagree with I's theory of this, but I enjoyed it. I watch all the videos because I make videos and how long it takes. So maybe next case, me and I will agree on, but just not here. I don't see it here. Yeah, you see Erskine multiple times in there, for sure. No white hat. And then the other thing is Galen identifies Adam Randall too. Yeah, it's almost like wearing someone else's, maybe your hunting vest. I'm not a big hunter. Maybe you go hunt and you have certain things in each thing. It's you customize it. You don't wear other people's shit. And God forbid, if something were to happen to you when you had someone else's gear on, you might not be covered by insurance because that gear didn't fit you right. Steve Brown is the guy that pushed it. Yeah. Steve Brown. I've emailed him. I Twittered him stuff before, but he never got back to me. I think the guy there putting up to be BG is Troy Helderman. So you think that's Troy Helderman in the blue, Kathy, the blue coat and the tassel hat? Wow. I didn't put that together. That's interesting. Yeah, you're not wearing someone else's gear. I mean, I can't say that there will never be a situation, but these guys, they keep their stuff in their car because they're not at the station. Not sure. Maybe Ron Logan set the fire. Look at Stella with the jokes today. Down the hill, Logan. There's 2 Ron Logans on YouTube, and neither of them are in my chat today. It's arduous to know the story. It is. It's very tough. I get what you're saying. That's why I want to believe that this is what he saw because that was like a natural reaction and it seemed like a plausible text message, but the other stuff, yeah. Who? Consenting adults could do whatever they like, Chopper. I don't know if they'd ever find pantyhose to fit my legs, though. I don't like beanies. I like the tassels. I don't like them to be real tight. I like the even if it doesn't have the ball on the top, I still call it a tassel cap from back in the day. Yeah, I agree. I just think that maybe I'm wrong, Kathy. And maybe give me your feeling without any proof, just your instinct on it. Does it feel like that they think that though? That's the impression I got. Maybe I'm off. They think that like she's not doing that. I don't think so. What's up, Melissa? How are you doing today? CJK, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Ooh, there you go. You guys are getting all set up. Well, I am going to get ready to get out of here. I just want to make sure I cover everything. So at the end of the day, I think I think that Flora and Delphi, despite the proximity, despite the statistics where, young girls and this, are dying and it's this close together, even though there's two different modus operandi, that doesn't mean that it's not what happened, but I don't think so. I think a lot of people that want the Odenism thing to be true or maybe using this as a bridge and say, well, look, we could show it was Odinist, he killed Black Girl, they did, blah, blah, blah. Westfall, in my opinion, didn't do himself any favors on Sleuth's channel, and I appreciate Sleuth for having him on because it's an important thing, and you might not like the guy, but what was he lying about? Everything? Some things? I don't know. I don't see it being linked myself right now. I went from 90% no to being on the fence to now coming back. And I don't think David Erskine was bridge guy. David Erskine's there with his gear on. And like I explained to you, firemen, not that they can never switch gear, but it's highly unlikely that happened. And I'll continue to watch Eye of Apophis because I really like his or her videos. They're really well done. Great music. I can't get down on that theory. I see too much saying that that's not maybe what happened. But it's hard to say. I do believe Richard Allen's the guy. I'm about 85% on that. If everything I'm hearing, they're going to come out with this and they're going to come out with that. Well, I can't put my hands on. I can't touch it. I can't read it. I can't share it. So I don't know for sure. I trust the people, but we'll see what happens there. I'm very interested. I was talking to Frank Meister about this. Very interested to see the Westerman hearing. So you got 18th, you have Richard Allen, and there's 2 or 3 hearings scheduled that day within the same day for Richard Allen. And then you have the Westerman thing is a week later. What if Westerman testifies on the 18th? And what's he going to do? Is he going to flip on Baldwin? And then that 27th goes away. Frank brought that up to me, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even think of that, Frank. So that's possible. Ron Logan is here. Ron Logan. Oh, next weekend they get them Rhode Island Reds. And Ron Logan, I promise you that I will always pay for my chicken. I don't know if everyone on YouTube can say that, but I always pay for my chicken. I won't steal it. There he is. Ron, you didn't like the fire and Flora, I'm pretty sure. Ron will probably answer here. But I want to leave you with that word, an hour 20. I had to dress what I had to dress early on, and I'm sure there'll be more clapback for it at me, but keep it at me, not Kristen, not Frank, not Kathy, not families. And we can go back and forth. We can do whatever we need to do. And, I showed you the pattern of threats and how it works. I've talked to my people here just to make sure that if, hey, he drives across a couple states, come to my house, Castle Doctrine, you're good, you're solid on it, excellent. And, anyone out there that has warrants for their arrest, do the right thing and turn yourself in. And then, you can't run forever. So we'll leave it at that. Got some fun coming up this week, though. Get ready for that. Look out for that. There's going to be a new top 10 list. Dun, dun, dun. I hope you're going to enjoy it. Most people think it's funny. We know everyone doesn't think it's funny, but most people do. But at the end of the day here on my channel, I will not put up with any racism or racists. I have a couple things I'll share and I get a chance to. It shows you how racist people are actually 10 to 12 points on average dumber than regular people are on IQ tests. So I will be able to put that. I wanted to share that here, but with all the talking we got into, I wasn't able to do it. But I appreciate everybody, all your time, super stickers. You guys, you really make me blush. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I love you. But I want you to know where I come from, and I want you to know things that things like that piss me off. But I'm honored to be mentioned with Randy, Grav, and Fig. So, he'll continue to share pictures of me, and my Facebook's open. He's Kevin Kovacs. You can go find it. You know what I mean? I have no record. I'm proud of my life. So I want to share it with you. People that aren't proud of their lives, they hide, right? They hide and they don't want anyone to know who they are and this and that. And then there's other people on YouTube, they just want to be bothered with lunatics, so they don't use their real name. So it isn't true with everybody. But the people that are making waves and making accusations, you don't know who they are, or you don't see their face, how do you take them serious, right? But take what they say and research it. Take what I say and research. Don't take anything that I say as the gospel. I mean it. Go look it up, go research it, because a lot of the bullshit that's being shared, they use like the first thing they find in a Google search, right? Look up corrupt fireman. First thing that comes up is this. If you went 3 or 4 further, you would have found some better shit, some more juicy stuff, but it's so easy. It's so easy to do. Oh, they made shirts that they killed them. What? It happens every day in McKeesport, unfortunately. Every time someone gets killed, there's memorial shirts. There's that. That's what we do. It's one of the ways to mourn. Maybe that's lost culturally, not even in a different country, but even across the country. Maybe that doesn't happen. But for me, that's nothing new. Unfortunately, it's not new. But I thank you all so very much for your time. I think you hopefully learned a little bit today. You know where I stand on it. I could be wrong. I don't think they're linked. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're linked. I think that some people maybe are hanging on the Odinist train, want it to be linked so they could say, yeah, they did these 4 girls for racism. And I can't rule out that it was done for racism. I believe wholeheartedly the way Galen was treated after the fire was racism. 100% racism, in my opinion. I think if it had been a white family, it should have been treated different. And I'm sad for that. And I don't mean by police necessarily either. I mean by the community. Firemen wouldn't be saying what they said about her carrying a gas can from a gas station that was closed on a camera that doesn't exist. But yeah, I don't know. Till all the information's out, it's hard, but I'll tell you where I'm leaning right now. Yoder Lover angle. That's what I think. But I want to thank you all so much. Oh, Frosty's in here. Frosty's off to work. Look forward to meeting him here in a couple of weeks too. Absolutely. You try, I'm going to leave you with this. You try to take the high road and you try to be like, hey, listen, I'm onward and upward. Sometimes people drag you down. And that's what happened to me at the beginning of this episode. I was drugged down, but I just feel like I have to do it. Say what you want about me. Share what you want about me. I got nothing to hide. I don't give a shit. I care about the people's opinions that I care about, that I love. I don't care about other people's opinions, but when you're attacking other people for no reason, saying vile and wretched things, I'm going to call you out. And that's just how it's going to be. That's how my channel is going to be. And if it's not for everybody, then it's not for everyone. I totally understand that. But again, look at the people and just think, do I sub to a person that's racist, that doesn't care about hiding it? Do I do this? And just think about it, and you're supporting for people. Find people that you think are true blue. And if you think that 4 Pits and Joe Lewis are true blue, you should support them. You should support them financially, and you should support them by subbing to them. But if you do that, you're just not going to fit in this channel here. You're not going to fit with, in my opinion, good people, and the good guys get to win. And I'm an agent of the universe, my friends. I'm sent to correct shit. That's how I feel. I'm here for YouTube. I didn't want to do any of this. I want to talk about serial killers from the past. I didn't want to work any new cases. But let me tell you something. I'd rather do what I'm meant to do than what I want to do. And I hope that makes sense to you. No iced tea today. Gatorade, orange Gatorade today. A long night last night at work. If I could help you with anything, my email is kevlar148hotmail.com. Kevlar148gmail.com, either or. Smoke detector questions, fire questions. You got information? You want information? I'll send you everything I have on Florida. The more eyes, the better. And we'll go from there. But until next time, I definitely have some. I'm not going to do anything tomorrow, I don't think, but I got some exciting and fun stuff to do next week. And it will be great fun. I promise you that. So I'm going to get out of here. I thank you all, and I love you all so much. You guys are fantastic. I can't tell you that enough. So I will leave you by saying tentacles. We'll drink to that. And Coach Kev,